Everyone knows that the Detroit Lions have perhaps one of the most powerful offenses in the NFL, but their offense is so damn monstrous that they have a terrifying prospect of two fearsome twosomes coming into play. And we're going to talk about it in this episode, folks, so don't you dare go anywhere.
What are we? What makes us what we are and what we're going to be? It's grit. It's what we started with last year, guys. Doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and three toes. I will beat your ass.
Can definitely compete with the big dogs.
10-5 end zone touchdown Detroit Lions.
You guys are unbelievable, man. I'm telling you.
We are driven by Detroit.
Hello, Detroit Lions fans, and welcome on back to yet another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. I'm your host, David T. Pike, and as always, we're diving on in. So welcome back, my friends, and so far it has been an absolutely wonderful ability to be able to talk football, talk especially Lions football, and today we're going to do more of that. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be focusing around news that is out of training camp. We're going to be talking about stuff that's already transpired, because I'm telling you this right now, folks. When it comes to NFL offenses, or hell, even NFL defenses, the ability to have a fearsome twosome is something that really makes teams become like, it's something that you just don't want to deal with if you're an opposing team. If you can have two great anythings on your roster, that already puts you in an upper echelon of certain categories that most other teams can't seem to get into, because it's very hard to have one great thing in the NFL or one great player at a certain position. But to have two, that is something that is very, very rare indeed, and not a lot of teams have it. But what is even more rare, what is even more exclusive, what is even more hard to obtain is when you have two of those, when you have a duo of fearsome twosomes. And here's the thing, folks. I've said this before. I'm going to say it again now. I've called it now for months, well before almost anybody else wanted to start talking about it. I fully 100% believe that the Detroit Lions this year, 2024, are not only going to have the best offense in the league, but I fully have expected that I think the Lions might just set records in the NFL for the entire NFL history. Like, I fully expect that this Lions offense that we are about to see this year is going to rival offenses like the 1999 Rams, the 2013 Broncos. And I've talked about it in a previous episode, so you can't say I haven't. But dude, with every single passing day in training camp, it looks more and more like, hey, you know what? Maybe that might be the fanciful wishful thinkings of like a Lions fan. No. This isn't just wishful thinking. This has a very high probability of becoming damn reality. Dude, let's just think about this. Like, seriously stop and just think about the prospect of what the Lions have on offense. And I'm telling you this right now, you should get chills down your damn spine. Let's think about this, folks. Ben Johnson is the best offensive coordinator in the NFL, and he's arguably one of the best offensive minds. Take a look at the offensive weaponry that this man has to work with, and just the sheer amount of creativity that he can use to exploit that with. When you take a look at the fact that the Lions have, again, I've said this before, they have the only elite offensive line in the NFL. Think about this. They have 4 first-round draft picks in that offensive starting line rotation. That's damn near unheard of. You have Taylor Decker, you have Kevin Zeitler, you have Frank Ragnow, you have Penei Sewell. Those are all first-round draft picks on that offensive line. Dude, nobody's going to be able to contend with that. Nobody's going to be able to try and stop that. And then, that great offensive line is what sets up everything else happening for the Lions' ability to be that kind of an offense, to have that duo of fearsome twosomes that I'm talking about in this episode. Let's partially talk about this from the perspective of what's not happened so far in training camp, or rather what's not gotten as much coverage in training camp. Let's talk about the running backs here just for a brief moment, a brief interlude, if you will. Take a look at the running backs we have. We have David Montgomery and we have Jahmyr Gibbs. Montgomery and Gibbs, last year in 2023, they were the leading running back duo when it came to NFL production. Take a look at what these two were able to do last year. Montgomery last year had just a tick over 1,000 yards, over 4.5 an average a carry with 13 rushing touchdowns. When you take a look at Gibbs, on the other hand, he was just a tick under 1,000 yards, over 5 an average a rush with 10 rushing touchdowns. When you then take all that and you combine it together, the net total that those two men had was just a smidge under 2,000 yards rushing, just a smidge under 5 an average a rush, and 23 rushing touchdowns. That right there ought to tell you something. Just from last year's perspective, with a slightly inferior offensive line, and now Jahmyr Gibbs is in the second year of his career. You've now got more time in the system that, Ben Johnson has cultivated, grown, and has more people mastered in. It's like, okay, this offensive unit is about to have a running back tandem that we have not seen in the NFL before. Because I'm going to tell you this right now. We have obviously heard in times past about how, you've had bell cow running backs, or you've had those one really, really special running backs that teams want to build an offense around. But a running back tandem like what the Lions have in Montgomery and Gibbs, I don't think we've quite seen an offensive juggernaut duo as a running back tandem, something like this, in a very, very long time, if at all ever. Because this kind of an offense, to have these two great running backs behind the best offensive line in NFL, probably in the entirety of not the entirety of history, but definitely within, I would say, probably the last couple of years, to have these two great running backs behind this elite of an offensive line, dude, that is a prospect that most defensive coordinators are going to stay up at night just trying to stop. Because it's like, dude, trying to be able to stop just that component of the Lions' offense, it is a terrifying prospect, because it's like there are so many ways the Lions can use those backs with that offensive line that defensive coordinators have to account for everything. But that's not even the best part of the Lions' offense. It's definitely a massive part, don't get me wrong. But dude, when you take a look at this training camp that we've been having this offseason going into 2024, oh my God, I'm just, dude, let's just think about this. just for a moment. Amon-Ra St. Brown, last year, was a top 5, damn near almost top 3 wide receiver in terms of his production. He was second in the league, or tied second in the league, in terms of receptions. He was third in the NFL in terms of receiving yards. He was tied 4th in the NFL in receiving touchdowns. And he did that mostly with a torn oblique muscle. He's a top 5 wide receiver from last year alone. But now, when you take a look at this training camp period that the Lions have been going through, Jameson Williams, dude, this is a man on a mission, and he is showing out like crazy in training camp. I mean, when you start taking a look at these highlights that I'm about to talk about here that have transpired over the course of training camp, whether it was prior to the joint practices that started yesterday with the New York Giants or during the New York Giants joint training camp practice, dude, I am telling you this right now. If I was a defensive coordinator, I would be like, I would not want to play the Detroit Lions at all, because of just the sheer amount of explosive stopping power that this Lions offense has at virtually every single damn corner. Let's take a look at some of these plays that the Lions have been showing about Jared Goff and Jameson Williams. Let's take a look at the granddaddy of them all, the one that started everything. Go back to the beginning of training camp. The one where Jameson Williams threw up after the play. I've talked about this before, but when you take a look at this play, Jared Goff just puts this ball on a perfect dime. You could not ask for a better placed thrown ball. Jameson Williams does not have to stop. He doesn't have to slow down. The ball is right in the breadbasket. All Jameson Williams has to keep doing is running. Catch the ball and run. There's no adjustments that have to be made. Jameson Williams doesn't have to adjust the route. He doesn't have to do anything. It's just catch and run. This is right here showing the precision that the Lions have cultivated, that Jared Goff and Jameson Williams have developed this offseason. I would also talk about over the last couple of offseasons, at least ever since Jameson Williams has been able to run, that they have really been working on. And you're starting to see, or at least we were starting to see at the beginning of this training camp, how that was really starting to manifest. But when you then take a look at the plays that were happening at joint training camp practice yesterday with the Giants, dude, now you're seeing how the Lions offense is working opposite of other talent, not just their own talent. You're seeing how another defense with opposing players is reacting to the Lions with Jameson Williams and Jared Goff at the helm. And dude, the chemistry, the connection, the quick strike capability that these two have, dude, it is ridiculous. Again, I talked about this in my episode yesterday, but take a look at this play. Jared Goff, under center, he takes a 5-step drop back. He steps into the pocket, and you see Jameson Williams at the very end of that play. He is wide the hell open. There is nobody around that man for literally 10 to 15 yards. It's like somebody either didn't know he was there, or Jameson Williams literally blew right by them, and they could not keep up with him. The whole point of the matter is that Jared Goff got that ball to Jameson Williams in a damn hurry. Jameson Williams caught the ball, and he had great ball control and great ability to make sure he got his feet down before he went out the back of the end zone. That chemistry, that connection, you have seen right just there that the amount of time and care the Lions have put into that, and it is already showing great dividends. It is already manifesting. It's already producing fruit. But even still, that's not where it ends. Another play was released yesterday from training camp practice where, again, you're seeing Jared Goff and Jameson Williams using that deep bomb. They're using that deep ball throw. And it is, again, showing that Lions' capability to be a quick strike offense. Once again, Jared Goff is throwing a deep ball to Jameson Williams. Now, Jameson Williams has to slow down a slight tick here. But again, Jameson Williams is so far out in front of the defender. And again, there's no defender around him for quite a bit. So even if Jameson Williams slows down by just a hair, it's not going to impact him from being able to continue to make the play happen, which what happens? Jameson Williams takes it in for a damn touchdown. Those plays that I have just shown, whether it were the ones from joint training camp practice yesterday or the ones prior to that, they show how this offense, when you take a look at how Jameson Williams is coming along for the Lions, pair that with Amon-Ra St. Brown, and hell, I didn't even talk about Sam Laporta, the guy who last year led all tight ends in touchdowns, was a top 5 receiving tight end. Dude, you just add that on top of that. Add that on top of that, plus the 2 running backs that we have in the backfield with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. Dude, I remember there was a comment that I saw from one of my biggest fans, and he was talking about how the Lions could put up freaking Madden rating numbers. Like, they could be putting up numbers we have not seen before. And, dude, when I take a look at this and I seriously start thinking about it, it's like, dude, How do you stop this offense? It's like it's a pick your poison offense. There are so many ways the Lions can attack you, whether it's running the ball, whether it's straight drop back passing, whether it's play action passing, whether it's intermediate throws, whether it's deep throws. They have so many ways that they can take you out. You cannot cover every option. And the Lions have built that offense around Jared Goff to do just that. Again, Jared Goff is what I would like to call the perfect orchestrator of an offense like this because he can do everything you ask of him. Again, we've heard Ben Johnson say it. We've heard Dan Campbell say it. There is not a throw that Jared Goff cannot make within this offense. And now when you have guys like Jameson Williams that are really bursting onto the scene, when you've already developed that camaraderie, you've already developed that connection and that chemistry with Sam Laporta and Amon-Ra St. Brown, and now you've got the best offensive line in football, and you've got 2 of the best running backs in the NFL that make probably the best running back duo that the NFL has seen in a long time. Dude, I've said this before. I will say it again, and I will stand by it. The Lions, by the end of the year, I fully expect will have the best offense in the NFL. They just have way too many damn weapons. They have too much to stop. But I also believe that the Lions have a damn good shot of being also the best NFL offense in history. I truly believe that. I don't know how. I can't understand why you would be able to think you could try and stop our offense. We just saw it yesterday. The Lions offense was able to score on one play in the red zone against the Giants defense. And again, Jameson Williams was wide ass open. There was nobody covering him for 10 to 15 yards. If that's the kind of playmaking capability that this Lions offense has, good luck, NFL. Good luck, NFL defenses. You are going to be literally grasping for air, and you are not going to find any answers. That is how damn dangerous, that is how damn terrifying a prospect of trying to game plan against our defense is going to be this year. And it excites the hell out of me. But anyway, I'm going to end this episode because I could talk about this for quite a while, but I don't want to do that because I have another episode I'm going to release today on top of my usual 2 episodes because something has happened in the NFL that if it does become true, oh boy, it could really change the landscape of the Super Bowl race. But I'm not going to give it away just yet. You guys are going to have to tune in and find out about that. But having said that, I'm going to end the episode and say thank you all for watching in another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. If you like what you saw, by all means, I highly encourage y'all to watch the next episode. I also want to encourage y'all, please, to make sure that you guys subscribe to the channel, pardon me, so that way you guys continually show support to the channel. Again, I'm so thankful for every subscription that I can get because it really helps out the channel. But I also want to encourage y'all, if you do choose to subscribe, make sure you hit that bell notification icon as well, so that way you guys never miss any more content that I push out. Again, that's the best way that we can ensure you guys keep coming back to the channel. It improves the ability to get better recommendations. It improves the ability to spread on YouTube. That is something that I really highly encourage. I also want to encourage y'all to share the content with your Lions friends and family members. Share it here on YouTube, share it on Twitter, share it on Facebook, share it anywhere and everywhere you can with everybody and anybody that you can. The more we can share it, the greater the channel can grow, the greater the channel spreads, and the greater reach it has. And with that being said to everybody, I hope you all enjoyed the content. I hope you all having a great day. I hope you all got something that makes you happy, makes you smile. God bless. And until the next time we meet, I will see you all in the next episode.